shell and the dragon's lair. Wow, there it is. This is your reading. I wanted to note that, like, as soon as I got my tarot deck out of its little box, the tower was on the bottom there. So I thought that was notable, but we are going to shuffle. Judgment flew out there. This reading is timeless, and it will find you whenever it needs to. And okay, that one wants to come out too. I'm just gonna set that aside. Okay, all right. This is a messy one. And here we go. Did one fall to the floor? No, we're good. Okay. Oh, just in my lap. Okay. So my Shelleys, my little Shelley guys. Okay. We have Judgment here. And the King of Wands. We have the Seven of Pentacles. Is it? There it is. The Eight of Cups, which is the one that was in my lap. We have the Queen of Swords in reverse. Chariot reversed. And the Moon. Here it is. Come on. Focus. 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 The Moon. Some of you are judging yourselves a little bit too harshly. With the Dragon's Lair, there is a bit of isolation and hoarding of precious materials, precious materials. And with the shell, there is protection and communication. So it could be that you're feeling very protective over yourself and feeling insecure in your security, and thus we are doing a little bit of hoarding. We're doing a little bit of keeping things close to our chest. Something feels a little off right now. You might feel a little bit off. I think that there is a tendency for you to be a person of action, someone who really goes forward and gets a lot done, and some of that has been stagnating. I think that, like, you're not seeing a whole lot of movement forward, and that might be frustrating for you. That might be a little bit uncomfortable, or just feel a little bit off for you. There is an adjustment period, and what this is calling you toward is a spiritual journey of sorts. There's like a deeper meaning and a deeper message here for you that is kind of asking for your attention right now. And then with the Queen of Swords and the Chariot both in reverse, there is, for me, kind of like this sense of hiding the truth from yourself and like not really wanting to settle into what is probably the right direction for you to go. I think it's interesting because you're so used to doing things, but right now, because of that feeling of like offness, this feeling of things not being quite right or things landing a little bit differently than they normally do, there's a hesitation to move forward, and there's a hesitation to really like live your truth and speak your truth. I think a lot of you are holding your tongue in these situations, and it's kind of at the price of your authentic self, of your authenticity, right? And with the Moon, we kind of have this this even like greater calling, especially with the Eight of Cups coming up and the moon coming up. There is for sure this call to action, but it's more spiritual than material as far as the direction that you are being called to go in. And it's definitely like leading to some breakthroughs of who you are and who you want to be, as well as kind of this shedding and letting go of these walls that you've put up in order to protect yourself. And yeah, you're in this kind of like gestation period currently, and it's uncomfortable. It's uncomfortable. Gestation is not pretty. It's not comfortable. It's beautiful, but it's not pretty. I'm thinking about like specifically pregnancy right now. Some of you might literally be carrying a child and like building a whole person, and that is exhausting. Creation is exhausting, and you will be needing a lot of help. And then there is this breakthrough that happens, right? There is this birthing process, whether it's literal or metaphorical, that happens, and it leads to like magnificent revelations and understanding of like what it is that you can do and what is possible. And there's also this mourning that happens with birth and with any type of transition and with any type of threshold that we step over, because when something is born, when a person is born, when something is born in our life, we are simultaneously leaving something else behind, leaving an aspect of ourselves behind. And then we are entering into this new world that we've created for ourselves. And there can be some resistance. But what I'm feeling more so right now, and my hands are getting warm, what I'm feeling right now is more so that there is physical things happening in your body that are holding you back from how you would normally go about your life. And that is creating some setbacks, that is creating some doubt, that is creating some insecurity, and this desire to just stay at home, which is fine, honestly. Like, I think if you are in this place where you need to kind of like become a little bit of a recluse, a little bit of a hermit, I think that that is perfectly appropriate for this time in your life. And there are some blessings that come with that as well. I had to pause because I thought someone was going to interrupt me, but they were actually just leaving packages at my door, which everything happens in a reading for a reason. And yeah, I think like there is this kind of like hesitation of letting people in, or having people around right now. And I would also say that like the people in your life are happy to show up or not show up however it is that you need them to right now. This is a hard time for you. I'm not gonna lie. Like, it's not the hardest. It's not the hardest. It's just not exactly easy. And it's a little bit different. The flavor is a little off, and you're not really sure if you like it or not. But it's like medicine. Like, you don't have to like it, but it will help. It will support you. And Yeah, there's definitely this kind of like when you are ready, freedom and like flying out of your little layer that you've created for yourself is there for you when you are ready for that, because I do believe that it will happen. It's just not happening right now, and that is okay. That is okay. It might not feel okay for you, like literally physically you might not feel okay, but dude, it is what it is. And right now we get to practice patience, and we get to practice forgiveness, and we get to practice like loving kindness toward ourselves, and we get to kind of explore what this means for us right now and how we can adjust to be more kind to ourselves and more forgiving to ourselves and like lenient and accepting of what is in this moment. That's all I got for you for right now. I have this kind of like, no, there's more. But I think for now that is the message. And it's quite simple. It's pretty straightforward, you know? Just take care of yourself, listen to your body and what it's telling you it needs, and don't push yourself to do things that you are not willing or capable of doing. Like, take it slow, and don't let that be permission to stop entirely, of course. Like, you don't want your self-esteem, like, being low to reinforce itself, right? You don't want that insecurity and the inaction to reinforce itself, and I think that is like what you're afraid of and why you're judging yourself so hard. And honestly, like, I don't think that's gonna happen if you are mindful that that is a possibility. I think that you are a very determined person, and I think that you are strong and loyal and loving and majestic and like beautiful, and I think that it would do you good to remember those things, because you are powerful and you are creating something currently, whether you know it or not, that is going to really bring something quite gorgeous into this world, I think. No pressure. No pressure. That's just what I see, you know? And, oh, I don't know if you see it right now. Because again, like, you are exhausted from all of this going. And I think there is some energy around you that is like, there's a little bit of like keeping up with the Joneses type thing. I think there are some expectations of others around you for you to be acting a certain way, and that just ain't it, babe. That just ain't it right now, okay? Like, you are looking at how you have behaved, all of the things that you've done in the past, everything that has brought you to this moment, and there's some regret, but not of the things that you did in the past, but rather there's some regret of like where you're at currently based on those things, if that makes sense. And then we have the sun in reverse. So yeah, you're not quite ready to shine your light on the world yet, babe, okay? I think that like it is the time to rest. It is the time to kind of hermit crab your way into your shell a little bit, and that's okay. And you don't need to judge yourself for that need, okay? For rest and for reclusivity and exclusivity, okay? You get to choose who you are bringing into your life, who you are allowing in your life, and whose opinion matters to you, and whose opinion gets to sway you in any way, shape, or form. And you get to practice humility in this time, and you get to practice just existing and letting yourself exist and not having to like make it be productive, quote unquote productive, right? Like this is the opposite of the hustle and bustle that you are used to, as it should be. And I think like if you are still kind of going about in that way, that's fine, but I don't think that it will birth the results that you are looking for currently. I think that there is some rashness involved and some not so clear thinking involved in your atmosphere right now. And it's just check where you're coming from internally when you are choosing to do things. check your motivations in your behaviors right now. And that's that. So we will move on to the next one. Okay, this next reading is for those of you who picked the Amethyst cluster. And commitment. So right off the bat, we have the Three of Pentacles come in. So we know that there is some learning, some shared knowledge, some creativity coming in for you, as well as the Magician. So there is collaboration here. Come on. Oh, you get the point. There's collaboration here, as well as bringing in your own bit of magic, your own kind of unique spark to it as well, and some like magical manifestation. Okay, this one also, we have the Three of Swords here, which, of course, if you have been listening to me do readings, you will know that card is more about committing to a new way of life than it is about heartbreak. Though of course there could be some heartbreak there. Traditionally, this card is associated with Saturn, and it used to signify marriage, and the swords signified pins. Right? So you have the two people getting married, and then either the witness or the person performing the ceremony. So this could indicate marriage. This could indicate a breakup as well. But either way, it is a commitment to a new way of life, and then there is mourning of leaving something behind, that being kind of like a way of thinking and a way of speaking and relating to other people. But either way, we have some threes come up, and then we have the Knight of Cups and the Two of Swords. So this collaboration and bringing in your own authentic, unique spark into this collaboration will, I believe, bring you into this aha moment where you are deciding to make a commitment. I know you chose that card for a reason, and you're moving towards something kind of completely new, like a totally different lifestyle, so to speak. but it resonates with you. It resonates with you, and it feels more accurate to like what you are wanting in your life, okay? And then with the Knight of Cups, right? It's an emotional journey, okay? And then the Two of Swords is this balance, this meditation, this decision making, right? So there is a kind of movement back to whatever is leading you to make this decision, right? There's this meditation on this process and on this experience that you have, collaborating and learning and teaching, and really being seen for like the you-ness that you bring, like the really individual aspects that you offer into the world. And you're kind of like, am I being valued for that in my day-to-day life, right? And how can I bring that feeling of being valued for what I have to offer into my life, right? That is what's happening here, okay? And the Amethyst is representative of your intuition. So it is very intuitive. It's a very intuitive moment for you, and you are kind of leaning into what feels right. What feels right, okay? And then we also have the Star in reverse, as well as these cards that flew out. It is the Ten of Pentacles here. Oh my goodness. Ten of Pentacles. Can you? There it is. The Queen of Pentacles. Oh my gosh. The Queen of Pentacles. We have the High Priestess. The Knight of Wands in reverse, and the Ten of Wands in reverse. Okay, so with the Star in reverse, I think there is kind of like this, there's kind of like the, is this too good to be true? Or like, am I just kind of, is this like a pipe dream? Is this something that will never come to fruition? Like, I don't really know if what I experienced holds any weight or is real. It feels kind of dreamy. There could be some manipulation here. There could be some honestly, like, disillusionment and illusionment, right? So we are kind of coming from this place of what is real for us. What is real? You're looking at that and you're kind of like wondering what will work for you. What are fantasies that should stay fantasies, and what are dreams that you want to bring into reality? So that's like what the experience has brought to you. And I think like through this, you really are going to be supported by your family or by your chosen family. You will have the foundations to come to a conclusion and to like really be embodied in like your own self and like what you know to be true. And it's interesting because I think like there are going to be so many influences around you that kind of lead you astray, that kind of like sow seeds of doubt in you. And I think you might be dealing with some kind of fuckboy energy here. There could be a relationship that comes from this that starts off kind of out of whack, right? Where you're not really listening to your intuition, right? You're kind of like, oh, there's something off about this person, but I'm just gonna go with it. I'm just gonna have some fun. And then it ends up being fucking exhausting, dude. Like, I would not recommend it, right? But we all like to have a little fun. We've all been there. We all like to go through those little experiences. And I think like some of you could be searching for this type of commitment in another person, and you could have a pattern of going after people and then getting way too serious and then being disillusioned from that. And it's all because of this pattern, of this process of you discovering something new about yourself and getting excited about it, and then like really sitting with it and contemplating it and then integrating it and then going forward and trying it out and trying out like what that person is and who that person looks like with this other person, right? And so it's kind of like you're trying on different hats. I don't think it's like a bad thing, right? But it just is. And we all get to learn through this process, and like you are well taken care of right now. Like you don't have to worry about this like completely destabilizing you. What I would say is that it could take up a lot of your energy. So it won't take up your material resources or destabilize you in that way, but it will take up a lot of energy. I think that this is a pattern that you go through again, like where you get really excited about a person and then it just kind of falls flat, something happens, and you're like, oh my God, I put in all of that for what? Like I'm left just being drained, you know? You're letting people take advantage of you, to be frank. To be frank, you're letting people take advantage of you and actively and voluntarily not listening to your intuition and to your spirits. And I think it's a choice that you're making. Honestly, I think that you know that you're doing it when you do it. And I think it's a pattern. And this might be a pattern that you are wanting to break, especially if what you're looking for is commitment. Because how can you find commitment in another? How can you find commitment in another person? How can you find commitment in a relationship if you cannot commit to your own intuition? If you cannot commit to living your internal truth? And we have the Five of Pentacles here, right? This kind of like, oh, I'm just going to be left out in the dust. Everybody's going to... There's this same like kind of keeping up with the Joneses energy as the last reading. But this like, I'm going to be left behind energy. This like, I'm at this age where everyone I know is booed up and like living their best lives. And it seems like they're so happy, and like I am just gonna be left behind and everyone's gonna forget about me, and like that's not true necessarily. And like I don't know why there is this connection to, there's this belief that like your material well-being, your like financial stability, your like livelihood is somehow tied up in this idea that you need to be with someone and like find that forever person for yourself. That just doesn't really add up to me logically or intuitively. So that's just kind of like some kind of belief that you get to unpack there. And yeah, I don't think that there is anything that I can tell you about like how to move forward and how to like not do this or like whatever. Like, I don't want to be that person to tell you not to do something, or how to, I can't tell you necessarily like how to avoid this pattern. This is a lesson that you're going to have to learn for yourself, because you already know. You already know what your intuition is telling you, and you already know what you want and what is true, and you're just kind of stuck in this pattern right now, and you're gonna be in it until you learn that shelter is right there and has been available to you and is freely given to you, right? What I would say is going back to that beginning energy, right? Of the learning, the teaching, the collaboration, and the being celebrated for the magic that you are. Because that is what really sets you off on this journey of like discovering yourself and self-discovery, and like, it's the same thing, whatever. This journey of really embodying your emotions and really like accepting your emotions as they are, and that is like the space that is beautiful, right? And I think that could be a beautiful space to live in. But then you kind of go into this like, well, what does that mean for me, and what do I need to do about it, and how can I move this into my life, when it's already in your life, right? Do you get what I'm saying here? There is a spark of inspiration, and you're like, how do I hold this? How do I keep this? But it's already there. You don't need to keep it. You don't need to hold it. It's there. It's a spark. And it goes away, or it lights a fire, okay? And some fires are good. Some fires are beautiful. They keep your house warm. They keep you warm on cold winter nights outdoors. Some fire is beautiful. Some fire is good. Other fire burns your house down and is crazy and ruins your stuff. That's not going to happen. We know that's not going to happen. You're safe. You're protected from that. That's not going to happen. But I just, like, choose your fire. Choose your spark. What do you want to do? Why are you trying to hold that? Don't hold the fire. Don't touch the fire, okay? That's just going to burn, all right? That's all I got to say on that. Not the reading I was expecting, but I don't really ever know what to expect. There you go. And hope that helps. Time for the next one. Okay. So, those of you who picked the boundary candle, and the listening elephant, we have kind of this unsettling feeling, not feeling super embodied. There could be some dissociation for some of you. I think that I'm just kind of getting this inkling that some of you chose this pile because of this feeling that you've been getting of being disembodied, yes, but not really that. More like other people's energies are really affecting you a lot recently. And again, like, this really just, both of the last one, the Amethyst one, and this one are kind of tying back into the Dragon's Lair one. So there is this kind of like desire to take it slow, take it easy, kind of like recenter and go back into your mind castle, right? You're really wanting to like set stronger energetic boundaries and not really knowing how in this hustle and bustle culture that we have right now. And there is also kind of this, like, how do I make sure that I can remain financially stable and like taken care of and like secure and housed and all of these things, and at the same time maintain my calm, like maintain my feeling of centeredness, and like how do I juggle these things, right? We have the Knight of Pentacles in reverse and the Two of Pentacles. So yeah, there is this kind of feeling of like getting knocked off of your horse, so to speak, and then trying to figure out how you can balance those energies and like take care of yourself emotionally, take care of yourself energetically and physically, while still feeling this need to work and to like show up in the ways that you have committed to show up and the ways that you're expected to show up. And we also have the Six of Pentacles in reverse, and I'm just kind of like, there is this kind of like over giving that's happening. So as much as you want to say yes, you also want to say no. And I think like your priority right now is discerning what is a yes for you and what is a no for you, and following through on that. And I think that is going to be kind of the key to bringing in your light, your own beautiful, like, titties out in the sun. I'm like on my horse and I'm doing great and I'm having fun, and ending this cycle of like just exhaustion and burnout, and like kind of this way of thinking that really gets you down, that really gets you stuck in this framework. Okay, I think that it's kind of time for you, and this was like, this Temperance was on the bottom of the deck for this reading. I think it's really time for you to look at that creative balance and like what is it that you can do that feeds you as much as you are feeding it, right? Like, where is that reciprocal energy in your life? What is worth your while? What really refuels you? What makes you feel that sense of satisfaction that you are looking for? Because right now, what you think you should be doing is draining you. And like, I think there is this kind of like habit of trying to think your way into fixing this or like making it work somehow. You're trying to like logic it in your brain, and that's not necessarily working for you, right? Because we don't actually solve problems in our heads. We can come to the solution in our heads, but we can't just like know what the solution is and then it like magically fixes itself. So there is a little bit of like creative getting your hands dirty. I'm literally actually seeing like a garden, like actually getting your hands dirty. I think like it could be that you are in need of that reciprocal energy happening between you and an activity that you're doing, and like not so much a person or a job, right? In this world that we live in, I think that a lot of us are really needing to and feeling the pull to get back to the basics of being human, right? Like, I'm thinking about like cleaning the house. I'm thinking about gardening, and like you get fed from that, right? And you get like clearing out your physical clutter clears out your mental clutter. You get like a relaxation. You get like really hands-on physical rewards, right? I'm seeing also like cooking, like literally like baking bread, and doing something creative, like making art and playing games, and actually maybe like physically like juggling, like doing these things that really feed your spirit, that do give back to you as much as you are putting in to them, right? And I'm seeing this need for that to come in as the balance, and to really accept the like ambiguity of what that type of balance looks like, instead of looking for like a very transactional type of balance, because this transactional type of balance that you're looking for is not where it's at for you right now. That's not where the money is. Where the money is not where the money is, okay? And I think you're over giving. I think you could be donating a little bit more than you're comfortable with. I think that you could be spending your money on things that you don't necessarily need to be spending your money on, or giving your money away to people who you don't necessarily feel comfortable giving away your money to, or like without thinking about it really. Like I really see this like you are putting your literal finances toward things that do not feed you, do not have that like the returns that you're looking for, right? I think you're going to find that more so in letting go of that mindset and really putting your energy toward the things that are creative for you. And we had a couple other cards come out as kind of a bonus. Okay, yeah, we have the 9 of Wands and the 3 of Cups. I think that like going in this direction is going to be really beneficial for you, right? I think that you're kind of beat up from this way of being and this way of thinking. You're kind of like over it, and you're like ready to move in a different direction, right? And you're kind of like pausing and looking at your options. And when you bring in your creative flow, your creative energy, your like ambiguity, your duality, your like contradictions, and everything, and all of the different parts of you, I think that is what's really going to like bring you to the community that you need, and to like the people that are reciprocal, that are going to give back to you in the ways that you are giving to them. And yeah, I think it's just like really not it's not the traditional way of like what you have been doing. It's not the things that like you're being told that you should by like society. Not I don't think it's by anybody in your life who told you this. I think it's just like this overall narrative that we're told that like you should put your money toward this, and you should put your time toward your job, or like investing in like learning, and like when you give to these things, then they like you get your money back or whatever. Like, that's not it. That's not the way to go with this. For you, it's going to be much more feelingsy. It's going to be much more intuitive and like, okay, what feels good? What feels good in your body? What can you actually say yes to right now? Okay? And yes, I know I just have this kind of like, oh, but like, again, I need to make money and I need to like pay my bills, and my job is what gets me to do that. I'm not saying to like quit your job and join the circus, okay? What I'm saying is you don't need to invest as much time and energy and money as you have been investing in the areas that give you a reliable paycheck. You don't need to be doing all of that, right? I think that you've been spending a lot of mental energy toward that as well, and like you're ready to shift gears and you're ready to go toward more creative endeavors that are really nourishing to your soul and to your mind and to your body. And don't worry about the money so much, honestly. Like, yes, like, get your paycheck, work your job, you will be taken care of, you are taken care of. And when you prioritize your spark, your soul, your needs of being human and being creative and like doing things that are really like homely and like community oriented, that is when you will find your community, and your community will take care of you. Like, we will take care of each other, and we will find the resources that we need with each other. We have lived for so long on this earth. As humans, we have lived for so long on this earth without capitalism. We have been here existing and surviving and thriving and drinking and eating and fornicating and creating and having babies and all of this. We've been doing that for way longer than money has existed, okay? We will be fine. You will be okay. We will take care of each other. We will take care of the earth. We will be able to do these things. And we don't have to buy in to the like just soul crushing, inspiration eating machine that we live in, okay? And now I'm preaching. But that's where we're at, okay? So you're allowed to have boundaries, babe. You are allowed to have boundaries. And this isn't like whatever. I will be making a boundary oil again very soon. It is the oil that is the most and only requested spiritual item that I make, like, consistently. People ask me for that. So I will be making it, and I don't know when it will be available because it does take 6 to 8 weeks to make. But when it is, I will let y'all know, and you will have a spiritual tool in your toolkit. And maybe I will make a video of like how I make the boundary oil, or maybe I'll do a little blog write-up of that so that you could make your own, okay? Because I am also here to share my knowledge and resources with you, my community. Thank you for joining me. Thank you for listening. And like, you have my heart with you, and you're doing so good. We're all doing our best. We're all doing really good, and we're all in it together. And I will see you next time.